I am back with my final video of coins that I picked up from Ken's booth at a recent coin show. If you've been watching the previous videos in this section, we had two videos of 5 for $1 coins out of a bin. Then we're looking at everything else that is carded that I bought separately. So as we look through these coins, everything on here is the price that I paid, but he gave me a 10% discount since I spent $100 at his booth. And so I have sorted these by price, cheapest to most expensive, and let's dig in. And so one thing I've done in the last couple of videos is I realized that his price is exactly what the Kraus catalog is going to say. So just as kind of a fun thing as we go through here, I'm comparing his price with the crowdsourced price that we find on Numista, assuming that the value or the condition of the coin is correct. Sometimes I think he's a little bit too lenient on his grading, but sometimes he gets it pretty spot on. So let's dig in. And we're going to start with a coin that I'm actually kind of surprised is available for 10 cents. So let me get this out of the bag here. Yeah, I was kind of surprised to find this first coin from Belize for 10 cents. Zoom in on here, and we have the, I guess, the coat of arms that we usually see from Belize on this side. But as we flip it over, this is a swallow-tailed kite bird. Now, it is tarnished, which is probably why I got it for 10 cents. But this dates back to a time when Belize coins had proof and mint sets that were made by the Franklin Mint concurrently when they had different circulating coins that would typically show Queen Elizabeth on them. So this coin was never meant for circulation. So the fact that I see it makes, at some point someone got it out of the mint packaging, and I don't know what happened to it, but because of that, the catalog does say that this coin in extra fine shape is only worth 10 cents, but you don't see it very often, especially outside of mint packaging. There are a couple of different versions of this coin. It was made out of aluminum in future years. Silver versions exist, but in 1974, before this one was made, it was completely round for 1 year, but their normal circulating coins were kind of the beveled edge, just like this one. So KM46, so I'm glad to get that one. And just as a comparison, Numista would say that's worth 60 cents. So already out of the gate, we're doing pretty good. We'll move to a 1 Sucre coin from Ecuador. Here is their coat of arms from 1946. It is KM 78.2, which means that it is a reduced size. And it was a 1-year coin that was made out of nickel for just this year. But design had subtle changes, but it sort of looked like this for many decades. This next coin is from Egypt, and we had we had a coin that looked like this in the last video, except this one is a 5 piastres, as represented by that oval is their 5. We had the 1 piastres of a similar design in the last video. There are 2 different versions of this coin, just like that one, where we have the Gregorian date right here of 1984. The Arabic date of 1404. There's another version. This one is 555.1, and the 0.2 version of this coin, the 2 dates are switched. And so that was just like the 1 piastre that we had in the last video. Sad to see some corrosion on this one, but it does feature the pyramids of Giza. So I have an uncle that doesn't care about coins at all, but he likes Egypt stuff. So he thought that the Egyptian coins that featured pyramids or Cleopatra or the Sphinx, things like that on it, were pretty cool. We'll move on to a coin from Morocco. This one is our date 1974, their date 1394. It's a 20 centimat. Catalog number is Y61. At least on these coins, if you weren't able to read the Arabic numbers, at least it's easier to read what's going on here. The portrait on here was King Hassan II, and it's listed as his second portrait. We'll move on to a coin from South Africa. This one is a 1 cent from 1966. KM 65.1. The 0.1 means that it's the English legend. Says you look above the portrait, it says South Africa. The other version of this coin, which ran concurrently, had it in the Afrikaans language, which would have spelled it Suid-Africa. A lot of coins at the time feature this individual. His name is Jan van Riebeek, who was listed as the Dutch colonial administrator and the founder of Cape Town. Flip this one over, and at the time, the 1 cent coin featured 2 sparrows. The 1 cent went through several redesigns. They tried keeping sparrows on it for quite a while. This next coin is from Yugoslavia, and while a lot of Yugoslavian coins don't really have a lot going on for them other than just text, this one's pretty interesting. So let's look at it. Has the date of 2002. It's a 2 dinara coin, KM 181. And this one features the Grasanica Monastery. So, from your Yugoslavia timeline, this was very close to the end of Yugoslavia. Several of the countries which were formerly part of Yugoslavia had already broken apart. This is the last year that Yugoslavia has coins that actually say Yugoslavia on them. So this coin appears almost identical in 2003, except by then they were calling it Serbia. I think at that point only Serbia and Montenegro were left. Now the other side here on the Serbian coin this side was almost completely changed because they changed to the logo of the Serbian Central Bank, but the side of the monastery stayed exactly the same. We'll move on to a coin from Chile. I like this design with the Chilean condor. And even though this one's aluminum, which is kind of a soft metal, and they get banged up pretty good, I like how this one's in MS60 condition. KM 205A, 1977, 10 centavos. It's an A because previously this coin was made out of aluminum bronze from 1975 and 76. I really like the condor design that appears frequently on Chilean coins. This next coin is from a country that you do not see very often, but if you're going to find a coin from there, it's usually going to be the 1 cent. In my last video where I had one of these, one of you pointed out that I've always been saying this wrong. I just figured it was pronounced Kiribati. So I looked it up, and I'm going to try it again. This time I'm going to call it Kiribati. Did I get it better this time? Kiribati. So it's a 1 cent coin, and I've probably found 10 of these over my coin collecting years. It's really the only coin that I found from this country. I've once found the 5 cent, but I think it's always good to find these just because representing a coin that a lot of people don't see very often. On here we have the frigate bird. There's one perched on the tree in the foreground, and in the background there's one in flight. It does have quite the thick neck when it's sitting down, doesn't it? Now we'll go to a coin from Spain, where pretty much every circulating coin was a commemorative coin throughout the 90s. This one is from 1996. It's a 5 pesetas, KM 960. On this side, we are looking at the, I believe it's pronounced the Porch of Riveline, and it has the church tower of Santa Maria de Palacio in Ligorno. Hope I'm getting that right. This side, it features the Danza de los Zancos, which translates to Dance of the Stilts. So this lady is a dancer dancing on stilts that are approximately about a foot tall. That is a festival that happens every year in the town of La Rioja. And there are also grapes featured on this coin because of the wine that is famous from this area. Next up is a coin that I'm surprised I've never found before. You'll see a lot of Bulgarian coins from the 60s and 70s that look like they are very similar to Soviet coins, but they had a completely different run of currency in 1992, and then they redesigned their coins again in 1999. So in 1992, I have all of the 1, 2, 5 leva coins, but I didn't have any of the smaller Statinki coins, any of them. This one is the tin Statinki from 1992, KM199 nickel brass, and it features an ancient lion sculpture. Here's a coin from the Philippines that I have. This one's probably going to be an upgrade for my collection. This was one of the earlier coins when the United States were no longer minting, or at least administering over the Philippines anymore. So 1960, it's a 1 centavo. Here's the Central Bank of the Philippines design. It's KM186. And so it's the 1 centavo coin featuring a man with an anvil in the foreground and a volcano in the background. We'll see volcano symbolism on a lot of the coins from the Philippines. But this reminds me of the United States administered Philippines, where this coin was a larger size. But this one may have a similar sized planchet to the United States 1 cent. So it's kind of a reduced size. So this one's going to be an upgrade in my collection. Next, we're moving to a coin from Seychelles. It's from 1997. It's a 1 cent. It's going to be KM 46.2. There are 3 different versions of this coin. So the difference between 0.1 and 0.2 is a redesigned crest on this side. The 0.2 is the Pobjoy Mint version. There's the PM mint mark right there. And then the third variation is a different metal that makes the coin magnetic. We flip this one over. Features a crab. So this is either, sometimes people call this a mud crab, and some call it a mangrove crab. Our next coin is a modern 5 centavos from Nicaragua. Still has the same design with the triangle, 5 mountain peaks, and cap with rays coming off of it that we see on a lot of Nicaraguan coins. 2002, KM97. Next we have a circulating commemorative coin from Canada in 1992, which was Canada's 125th anniversary, which is notated with the dates right here. It's the 125th anniversary of the Canadian Confederation. They made this probably inspired the United States state quarter program. In 1 year, they produced a quarter for each province and territory of Canada. So there are 13 in the set. KM203, we're going to flip this one over, and the set is from New Brunswick. They have the name of the state written, or province, written in both English and French. So Nouveau Brunswick. Features a covered bridge on here. The name of that bridge is the Smith Creek No. 5 covered bridge. I want to go out of order for a moment because there is one other coin from this set. Might as well go ahead and get them at the same time. I had them ranked vaguely in the order that I paid for them. This one was better shape, so I paid a little bit more. KM 212 from this set is from the Northwest Territories. This was before the that newest territory, I think, called the Nunavut Territories. So that they do not have their own quarter, but this is a symbol that you see a lot from the Northwest Territory, featuring this is called the Inukshuk, a stone cairn built by the Inuits. So it almost looks like the shape of a person made out of rocks. I always think that's kind of a neat thing that appears on some of their coins. We're back to a coin from Chile. This one is from 1971. It's the 5 Escudos, KM 199. The horseback fighter here is Lautaro. He was a military leader who stood up to the Spaniards. Here we have the design of the Chilean coins of this time when they used the Escudos currency. Didn't last too long. 1971, and there are aluminum versions of this coin. So we still have a condor on here as part of the crest. So I do think it's neat how they have kind of a bird, but also a hoofed animal on the crest here. Next we have a coin from Western Samoa, featuring the first king, Tanumafili II. This coin is from 1974, so it's essentially the second generation of coins produced by Samoa. This is the 20 scene coin. We have some kind of fruit on here. I looked it up. That's called a breadfruit. Never heard of a breadfruit before. So it's kind of interesting to find one on a coin. One of the things I like about coins is when you find stuff from other cultures that you were not aware of existed at all. Our next coin is from Saudi Arabia, and if you've seen Saudi Arabian coins, they've looked pretty similar for almost all the years, but the newest batch of coins, instead of having all the words in kind of curved written around it, this time it's written straight across the coin. It's another one that, even though it's in Arabic, it uses our number system. So we've got the 2016 for our calendar, 1438 on their calendar. The Saudi Arabian coins still have the 2 swords underneath a palm tree in the middle of the coin. This one is a 5 halalas coin. It's going to be KM 74. This next coin is another one that I'm surprised that I've never seen before. It's a Turkey 1 lira coin, so it's a pretty small aluminum coin. Unfortunately, this one has some kind of goo on it. But it's a 1 lira from 1981, KM 943. This side's probably no surprise, but as we flip it over, so this is the coin. This is the first coin. In 1981 is the first year they had a coin that looked like this, but it is a 1-year coin. In future years, for the rest of the 1980s, the crescent, moon, and star, the crescent was facing the other way. So on this version of the coin, they say crescent faces left, but in future years, you have crescent facing right. In future versions of this coin, there's also variations in the thickness of the large number 1 that you see on here, but no variations in the 1981 version. Our next coin is going to be from Sierra Leone. And like a lot of the coins from Sierra Leone, one side, the head side, features Sir Milton Margai with a motto of unity, freedom, and justice. As we flip this one over, we see that the 20 cents coin from 1964 features a lion. KM20. When I saw this, I wondered how many coins have a KM number and the denomination of the coin are the same. I could see that happening a lot for a 1 of a denomination, but 20 may not happen as often. Next up, we have our first silver coin from this video, and while I said that he tended to price coins in book, for whatever reason, some of his silver coins are oftentimes priced below spot. Now this one, he has written very fine on it, but it's really grungy. And this one is 83.5% silver, and that is 0.0336 ounces. So on the day that I bought this, the spot price would have been 73 cents. And silver has gone up in value $5 an ounce since then. So this is now worth more than what I paid for it. Wine number 35. And here's a design that we see on a lot of the Venezuelan coins of the time. Since this coin is from 1954, they only use silver for up through 1960. They didn't mint coins every year, but it's still silver at that point. Next we have a proof coin from Liberia. 50 cents. You can still see it's got, someone on here wrote gem proof. You can still see the shine that is on here. There are some spots on it, but it's a 50-cent coin from 1974. I looked in the catalog, said that it was only available as a proof in 1974. There were only 9,362 of these coins which exist. KM17A.2. So here is the, I don't believe the Liberian coins feature any specific lady. It just intended to be a local lady. So when I paid $1.50 for this coin, I thought, wow, that's kind of a large proof coin to only be $1.50, especially when you look at that mintage. I thought that was wild, and I thought that's going to be a great bargain. Numista thinks that I overpaid for this coin. The Numista value on this was $1.25, or no, $1.30. So as far as the variations go, there are some differences in weight of the coin, which means it was probably a difference in thickness on different years. Maybe different metals as well. This next coin was also an overpay because he misidentified it, which is not hard to do considering that a lot of the details are so well worn on here. But we've got 3 crowns, one here, here, and here. That one is very hard to see. So it's from Sweden. It's got the monogram of Carl the 16, so you can easily see the letter C with crown on top of the XIV no, that's going to be 14. So the 14 in Roman numerals in the middle is missing. He thought this one was going to be a coin from 1802 to 1809. It's actually made 1819 to 1830. We also had the catalog number wrong, which I had to correct on here. The version he had didn't have any words around the C in the little crowns here. And also the crown up top was bigger on that one. We don't know the actual date because it's worn off, but it would appear right here. And I can see the 1 and the 8, but definitely not going to tell the year after it. So this is a 1/2 of a skilling. So you can make out the half, skill-ling. There's 2 dashes on here. There apparently is a variation on this coin where one or both of the dashes are missing. We've got a couple of arrows that run through the middle, almost make an X on the back. And so because he messed up. It was only, I was going to say it was an overpay, but if I got it 10% off, New Misa says this is worth 90 cents, and I really did pay 90 cents because I got 10% off $1. As we get to the bottom of the stack, we have a coin from Tanzania. Featuring Julius K. Nyerere, KM20. It's a 10 shilling coin. From 1988. This coin is made out of copper nickel, but in future years from 90 to 93, it was made out of nickel-clad steel. Coins from Nepal are already pretty difficult to recognize, so I'm thankful that he was able to identify this coin without me having to. And so it's obviously it's not that good condition. He writes very good on here. This is one of those where the corrosion actually helps a little bit because it gets in the grooves and you can kind of recognize the symbols a little bit better. But this is going to have a date of 1902 through 1911. Their calendar would say 1958 through 68. It is a 1 paisa coin, KM 629. The ruler at this time is Prithvi Bikram Shah, who ruled from 1881 to 1911. And so, as we flip this one over, I don't know if they didn't have die rotations at this time, but it should look like this. So it's almost, I guess, an eighth of a die rotation on here. Pretty significant. And so, thankfully, Ken who sold this coin to me was able to identify it. So, yeah, I don't have anything from this page from my catalog on here, so I'm certainly happy to find it, even if it's only very good condition, even if I paid $1 for it. I didn't have anything from this era from Nepal. I thought that was kind of a neat find. So as we pick up this coin, this is another one that is obviously not quality condition. He labels it as good. It's very well worn. It's dented a little bit. But for $2, it's something that you don't see very often. So this is from Sardinia, which eventually became part of Italy. It's a 1 centesimo from 1826. And so I've written some notes on here. There is a P mint mark right here. Not a mint mark, but that's actually a mint master of, I wrote the guy's name, Andrea Podesta. The actual mint mark is an anchor, which you can sort of see right here. That means that this was produced in Genoa. So it's got an anchor right here. So the anchor gives it a catalog number of 125.2. So in former catalogs, the Krause catalogs, it was previously labeled as 98.1. So it's kind of funny how 98.1 became 125.2, 98.2 became 125.1. And so you can tell based on the mint mark right here. The other version has an eagle on it, which didn't look like an eagle to me, but you can definitely tell what an anchor is on here. All of these coins are made in only the year 1826. Here's where it says 1 centesimo. And it's in a section of my catalog which says it's the mainland reform coinage. So I don't know what that means. But if I remember, Sardinia is actually an island where Italy is today. And the ruler at the time is Carlo Felice. So that might be my second or third coin from Sardinia. Next, we have a non-circulating commemorative coin from Israel. We'll get back to that side in a moment. It's going to be a 1 lira coin. This is a rare coin from this era where they have the date from our calendar, which is 1960. Their calendar date is 5720. So yes, it was a coin not meant to circulate. And as we look on here, it is a village in the foreground with water behind it. And so my catalog said this is a features Hanukkah and the 50th anniversary of Dagania. And so checking Nemes to put a little bit more context, that it was the Jubilee of the collective settlement which is located along the Sea of Galilee. So for those of you who like Bible stories, you'll be familiar with the Sea of Galilee. So this is a modern civilization at that location. KM28. This next coin has lots of twos to talk about. It's going to be from Brazil. We've got the portrait of 2 men on here. Flip it over. We have 2 different designs of shields. So this is the centennial of independence for Brazil. And so this is the, I guess, the crest of the Empire of Brazil. And this is the crest of the United States of Brazil. So the coin was made in 1922, and so they declared independence in 1822. It is a 2 mil race, so that in other words 2000 race. When we flip this one back over, we've got 2 portraits on here. So the portrait on the left was the, I believe, the first emperor of Brazil, and the portrait on the right was the first president of the United States of Brazil. This one's KM 523. You'll see some silver numbers on here. This coin was also made in 2 different purities of silver. And I am told that there is no way to tell which is which, unless you get one that's toned very bad, and then over time, if it's well worn, maybe you can start to tell. But otherwise, you'd have to perform a chemical test on it, which damages the coin. So, in other words, you're probably not going to do it. So, the original version of the coin was 90% silver. The other version of the coin was 50% silver. The seller wrote down 90%, and I'm not sure that's right. You can tell me your guess on here whether you think it's 50 or 90%. I'm leaning that I sort of think this is a 50%, but I really don't know. If it was 90%, the silver content would be 0.2236, as he wrote on here. If it was 50%, it would be 0.1269 ounces, which gives you a spot price of either $5 or $2.75. Maybe that's why the price was dropped from $6 to $4 on this coin. But still, it's a good one I didn't have. Reading on Numista, there was someone who had developed a way of telling whether or not it was 50% or 90% by using apparently there's some kind of nicodate solution you can use on silver coins, and you would see periods before or after the letter I right there. But again, that they note that you have to damage the coin to do that, and so you probably don't want to do that. We're now down to the final coin of this video, which is the final coin of this series, and also the most expensive coin that I had purchased from this dealer. This is a coin that I have been eyeing for a very long time and finally got it at a good price. So this is a crown size, or an old silver dollar size coin from Peru, and their currency was the sol. So by this point, it's only 50% silver, which he has written on the back, but I did pay $15 for this coin, minus the 10%. and it's in AU condition. Is KM 218.2, and I'll get to why it has the 0.2 when I get to the other side. But this is a beautiful coin, I believe. We've got the shield that we see with the Peruvian coins. We've got a cornucopia down here, a tree. I think that's a llama. It has Lima as a mint mark instead of the traditional Lima mint mark. 5 decimos fino, which is their way of saying it's 50% silver or 50% fineness, which translates to 0.4019 ounces. That'd be about, the day I bought it, that'd be a $10 spot price. So there are 2 versions of this coin. Previously this coin was greater than 50%, but you can tell the versions based on the year it was made. But there are some versions of this coin that, even though it says Lima right here, there are some versions of this coin that were made in Philadelphia, the United States Philadelphia Mint, in previous years. Really the only difference is there are letters stamped at the end of the ribbon right here. So you've got a letter right there and a letter right there, and they appear bigger on this version of the coin. That's really the only difference. So a Philadelphia minted coin still says Lima on this one. But again, this makes a beautiful coin, and I'm really happy to have it, because I've been eyeing these for a long time, and they're not cheap, especially the 90% silver ones, which are much older. So this is the end of this series of videos, and just to give you a rundown, the total price that was, if you add up the price written on every coin flip on here, it comes to $33.85. Since I got 10% off, it's going to be closer to $30. The Numista price on here, they don't always say that the coin was more than what I paid for it, but in many cases it was the case. The Numista estimated price of everything on here is $62, which was, I didn't look up the first video of the series, but definitely I improved over what I paid on all of them. This one was the biggest spread. I pretty much doubled in value what I had paid from this dealer. So I look forward to seeing him again. I only see him at one show, and so he goes to others that I don't visit, but he likes when I spend this much money with him, because that way he can go out and buy more coins, and his hobby is just sitting around all day identifying hard to identify coins like that one from Nepal. So that's what he does for fun, and I admit that there is some fun to that. He just sits around. He'll have an opportunity to go out and buy a lot of coins, put more coins in flips, and I'm going to buy more from him next time I see him in a few months. All right, thanks for watching. Here at the end, I have links to my other playlists and other recent coin videos, and thanks for watching. Bye.